525,600 minutes, 525,000 moments, oh dear. 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year? In daylights, in sunsets, in midnights, in cups of coffee, in inches, in miles, in laughter, in strife. In 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year in the life? How about love? How about love? How about love? Measuring love. Seasons of love. Seasons of love. 525,600 minutes. 525,000 journeys to play. 525,600 minutes. How do you measure the life of a woman or a man?
Truth that she learned, or in times that he cried, in bridges he burned, or the way that she died.
It's time now to sing out, though the story never ends. Let's celebrate, remember a year in the life of friends. Remember the love. Remember the love. Remember the love. Measuring love. Seasons of love. Seasons of love. Seasons of love.
525,600 minutes. 525,000 moments, oh dear.
525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year?
In daylights, in sunsets, in midnights, in cups of coffee, in inches, in miles, in laughter, in strife.
In 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year in the life? How about love? Remember the love. Remember the love. Measuring love.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Milken's Open House. My name is Lindy Kaduri, and I'm the Director of Admission and Enrollment Management. Open House is one of my favorite events of the year because we get to share and reshare the value of a Milken education, highlighting our signature programs, expert educators, and talented students. But most importantly, it's an opportunity to welcome new families and siblings to our community. Open House reminds me of all the important and amazing things that our students engage in every single day, and inviting new families to be a part of that is key to continuing to build our Jewish community. Today's main program is designed to introduce you to our school through the lens of a portrait of a graduate. Students who think well, belong to something greater than themselves, and take positive action. You are going to hear from our school leadership, current students and alumni, and you're going to learn about how Milken inspires our students to find their passion, reach their potential, think deeply and profoundly, connect and contribute to their community, and find purpose. After this virtual program, we are looking forward to welcoming to campus students who have registered for our in-person student experience, which starts at 11 a.m. We are also excited to be able to offer private family tours to campus this year. Please visit our website to schedule yours so that we can show you what a Milken education looks like in action. We want to make sure that you have the opportunity to experience our incredible school. So whether it's today's open house, our parent coffees, our student spotlight series, or a private tour, we invite you to get to know us, to feel the warmth and strength of our community, and to understand why coming here is going home. So without any further ado, I would like to introduce you to our inspiring, dedicated, and visionary leader, our head of school, Dr. Sarah Schulkin.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us. We're happy to have you here, even virtually. Earlier this week, I stumbled upon a class of 11th graders sitting outside in our outdoor garden, wrestling with the famous and complex Talmudic text, a wild, dramatic debate between groups of scholars about who has the authority to determine Jewish law. The text actually ends with a line from our mission statement, Nitzchuni B'nai, our children have surpassed us, or sometimes translated as our children have eternalized us. When I stopped by the class, I heard a student wonder about the role of humans in evolving and adapting Torah's laws. Another student wondered what happens as time goes on and people add their voices each generation, sometimes disagreeing with one another and even disagreeing with the divine word. But another student suggested that this was evidence of success, that we interpret the Torah on our own terms and for our own generations. This scene, this conversation about the text, I thought as I watched the kids, has happened so many times across millennia and actually all across the globe. And yet, as I watched our students, I thought this scene has actually happened never exactly like this. And it's our kids' unique ideas and the ways that their ideas bump into one another and build on each other that will shape our future. Brilliant novelist and essayist Dara Horn writes about Judaism's foundational legend that has a unique conception of time. Jewish tradition teaches that it was not merely our ancestors that were liberated in Egypt, but all of their future descendants, biological and spiritual. In other words, our text teaches, we ourselves were personally freed. Time is not merely future focused. It is not linear, but spiraled. You sit here today trying to make a decision about your child's middle and high school. And the first question really is, what do you believe about time? Is time a straight line where only the future matters? Or is time, as Dara Horn suggests, more of a spiral in which the future is the present, which is essentially the past? To me and to Milken, when you listen to that 11th grade conversation, it's important not only for the present moment, but because it's contained within it all of the past and all of the future, bound up together. It's the voices of our students that contain generational echoes all across time. In many ways, this conversation and this conception of time is the antithesis of the foundational American legend that is only merely future focused. Because at Milken, it is our hope that our students belong to something greater than themselves, not only in the community that we are today, but also in the community that we have been and the one that we will become. For us at Milken, this sense of spiral time, this intergenerational covenant is captured in our mission and core values, which I'll share with you now. At Milken Community School, we think education is more than what you know. Our school, founded on Jewish values, is about who our children can become and how they help others become who they might be. Because the world our children will create tomorrow is born in the school we build today, our mission is to educate our children so they can surpass us. And our core values: Pursuing Academic Excellence, Talmud Torah. Building Joyful, Welcoming Community, Kehila. Treating others with dignity and kindness, Kavod Habriot. Taking responsibility for self and others, Arevut. Connecting to Israel and the Jewish people, Ahavat Israel. Reflecting and repairing with integrity, Tshuva. And pausing to nurture the soul, Shavat V'inafash. I understand that intergenerational echoes, spiral time, and our children surpassing and eternalizing us might be a bit lofty, particularly for early on a Sunday morning when we maybe haven't had enough coffee. So I want to make it a bit more concrete. I want to share with you the story of Sarah Golden, a Milken 11th grader. Sarah was actually part of that conversation that I shared with you earlier. She takes AP Chemistry, Honors Advanced Jewish Studies, AP Lang, Advanced Science Research and Design, and she helps to lead two programs, one called Girl Talk and the other called Global Beit Midrash. Sarah is from two grandparent survivors who escaped Nazi Poland and immigrated to South Africa. And her grandfather actually became the Chief Justice of South Africa who helped to bring down apartheid. On her maternal side, her grandparents are American, and her grandfather served in the Vietnam War and became the Chief of Neurosurgery at UCI. So, as Sarah said to me, justice and science were in her blood. Her past is her present, which will undoubtedly influence her future. Sarah came with me along with another student to the Milken Institute Global Conference last week. That conference is filled with the most sophisticated thinkers, researchers, and entrepreneurs from around the world. A few anecdotes from this experience I think really show our mission and values in action. In a panel on biomedical research and equity, Sarah had the confidence to pose a question. She wondered, what can high school researchers in STEM fields do to promote inclusivity and diversity? At another session, she approached a neuroscientist to discuss her interest in medical research and becoming a veterinarian. That doctor actually stopped me in the valet line later to tell me that he was blown away by her confidence, her intellect, and her strong sense of self and identity. When she was asked by a conference attendee what she loves the most about her high school, Sarah said that she appreciates the commitment of her teachers, her rabbis, and her counselors to helping her balance and manage stress. She gushed with gratitude for the community of which she is a part. At the end of the day, in my favorite moment, she got into a respectful debate with Governor Newsom. And she wrote to me afterwards, asking how she could follow up with his office about getting more involved in politics and animal rights advocacy. It's true that Sarah is at the top of her class by any traditional measure, and that she will undoubtedly go to an excellent college or university. But so what? If she and her classmates cannot use all of this academic prowess, all of the wisdom and tradition from our past, if they cannot direct it to the larger community, if they cannot make the world a better place than the one that they were born into, then we at Milken have failed. As Ted Sizer, renowned educator and former dean of Harvard's Graduate School of Education, noted, not only our communities, but also the very health of our democratic civil society relies on adults who are committed to communities and at times put the common good ahead of their own. It is our job, yours and mine, to raise these adults, in part because of who came before us, of those generational echoes that stake claim on who we hope our children will become and how they will help others become who they might be. Thank you so much for joining us this morning to learn more about Milken. A Milken education is extraordinary because of our curious, committed, caring students who weave the future narrative of the Jewish people. Students who pause to set their intentions and through them do good in the world. Who discover their passions and purpose and let it propel them forward. Who explore our past and our present and imagine a better world. whose community inspires them to become the best version of themselves, who are not just great athletes and architects, but scholars and singers, innovators and change makers, who are inextricably part of something greater than themselves, but never forget who they are and where they are from. And who aren't just known well, but who know others well. A Milken education is more than its signature spaces and institutes, its signature pedagogy or faculty. Because the world our students will create tomorrow is born in the experiences we give them today. We educate our children so they can surpass us.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Milken Community School. My name is Limor Dankner, and I'm the Associate Head of School for Academic Affairs and Strategic Initiatives. I have the rare privilege to say that each day when I wake up in the morning, I'm excited to come to school. I am blessed to work alongside some of the most brilliant, creative, innovative, and devoted educators in the nation. And I can say that because over the course of my career, I've met many, and none are like the teachers and administrators at this school. Each year, when I welcome to Milken a new class, I ask the parents this question: what does a win look like to you? What do you want for your child? Almost unanimously, the parents speak to relationships and connections. I want my child to have friends, to feel like she belongs. I want my child to learn to advocate for herself and to find something that she is passionate about. I want my child to be happy. So I turn to you today and ask you the same question. What does a win look like for you? And why Milken? If you are a TED Talk enthusiast, you may have come across Simon Sinek's seminal talk entitled Start with Why. In it, he describes a theoretical construct he refers to as the golden circle. Sinek contends that in any organization, including schools, nearly everyone can tell you what they do. In some organizations, people can tell you how things are done, but it is only the rarest organizations that begin their narrative with a why. So what is our why? We believe that there is nothing more sacred than a Jewish day school, and that Milken serves this entire nation as a model for what any school, especially a Jewish school, can be. It is our privilege and our sacred duty to help develop young people into balanced, capable, committed, responsible Jewish human beings. Graduates who think well, belong to something greater than themselves, and take positive action. Everything we do to help refine their minds and souls, to renew the Jewish people, and to teach young people to repair the world. Our mission is the most ambitious one that a school can possibly have, to ensure our graduates become not just the best in the world, but the best for the world. How do we do that? We do that by insisting that the process of developing scholars and mensches, great people who do great things, go hand in hand. We do that by insisting that rigorous learning can be joyful, productive, and meaningful. We do that by insisting on a balance of quality academic rigor, a deep concern for personal growth, and a warm and welcoming community. What happens every day in every moment at Milken is based on a specific and somewhat countercultural set of assumptions about adolescence. Think about your own son or daughter. I'll bet that they want to be successful, that they need to be respected, that they desire to do and learn things that are worthwhile, and that they crave to find others who experience the world as they do. At Milken, the way that we spend our time, relate to one another, and wrestle with ideas is based on these assumptions. At Milken, we believe that students can and should be agents of change, and we challenge them to be the change that they wish to see in the world now, not when they're in college, not when they're working in the real world, but now. Teens can change the world. And like so many Milken students, your child can be a researcher, a writer, a performer, an inventor, and an innovator. At Milken, we want our students to own their learning, learn to take care of their community, and understand the value of empowered decision-making. We know that in the cognitive transition between the concrete world and abstract understanding, adolescents form the habits of mind and heart that will guide them for the rest of their lives. Nearly 4 years ago, the Institute for the Future, an independent, nonprofit strategic research and educational organization, partnered with Dell Technologies to identify emerging trends that will transform the global society and the global marketplace. Their experts estimate that around 85% of the jobs that today's learners will be doing in 2030 haven't been invented yet. Think about that. What does that mean for schools? What does that mean for your child? What skills will your child need to navigate a future that's changing in warp speed? For Milken educators, the answer to that question is clear. We are committed to student-centered, relevant, and values-driven experiences that guide our students toward an innovator's mindset. Imagine your children collaborating with their classmates as they participate in a shared inquiry passion project. They learn that reflection leads to new ideas and that innovation is never final. Their teacher invites them to iterate and inquire once more, leading them to new discoveries and new ideas. They are taught to problem solve divergently and empathetically, taking into account another person's needs and perspectives. And most importantly, even when things don't go as they had hoped, they learn to persevere through challenges with grit and determination. Here they will learn that true success demands discipline and commitment. Your children will be taught to transfer information, not simply consume it, to connect with others, not resist them or learn alongside them, and to communicate effectively and passionately. Because if you can't do that, your ideas remain imprisoned within you. They will understand that the value of knowledge is in its use. At Milken, it is not only what we teach and what students learn, it's how we teach and why they learn. We help kids find what they're passionate about and use that passion as the driving force in their education. I believe that more than any other school, Milken provides the full equation of leading entrepreneurial spirit, empowering social responsibility, lifelong community identity, uncompromising academic standards, and Jewish spiritual and ethical values in order to prepare and propel students far beyond college so that they may surpass us. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Kimberly Schwartz, Chief Curriculum and Program Officer.
Good morning and welcome to Milken's Open House. Whether you're choosing a middle or high school for your oldest child, or whether you've engaged in this process before, it's likely that this is the first time you've looked at a new school for this child since kindergarten, or maybe even preschool. Whereas the last time around, it was you alone who researched, toured, and attended open houses, this time, your child is an important partner in making this decision. So today, I want to speak with you about how Milken educators join that partnership, how we carefully work with each student as a partner and decision maker in their education, and what we offer students to ensure that their experience at Milken is both universal and personal. In our 6th to 8th grade division, we start with our core course requirements, provide opportunities to explore a variety of disciplines, and guide students in choosing electives that reflect their interests. Here you can see that our 6th grade students begin with shared opportunities to engage in a variety of design challenges that activate skills in problem solving, collaboration, design, and communication. They also begin with an exploratory course that introduces them to 3 primary areas of our elective program: innovation, storytelling, and performing. You can see the pathway through grades 7 and 8 for 3 very different students. Our first student is an explorer, not yet settled on what she likes best. She uses her 2 to 3 years in this division to try as many things as possible. Through semesters of elective courses and year-long X project topics, she gets a taste of art, cooking, creative writing, engineering, film, robotics, and world language. Her 2 classmates are able to take a more focused path through the middle school division. One comes to us already with a keen entrepreneurial spirit and begins with a focus on making and inventing. His science teacher gets him interested in how science research and engineering can support his drive to innovate. And he begins to see the importance of understanding business and finance to round out the skill set of an entrepreneur. The other student arrives with a commitment to performing and is able to dive into acting, singing, and dance. These students take a deep dive into their areas of interest while exploring related topics and broadening their initial ideas about entrepreneurship and performing. In our 9, 10, and 11, 12 divisions, we also start with our core course requirements. We evaluate each student's aptitude and readiness for college prep, honors, advanced, and advanced placement programs. And then we guide our students in choosing electives and core courses that reflect their interests. Each year, as students become more clear about their strengths and challenges, there is increasing opportunity to tailor courses to meet an individual student's needs and their interests. Here you can see 3 students' 9th grade schedules with highlights of how their different strengths and interests begin to show in their differentiated schedules. Here's an example of the 4-year high school pathway for a student who began Milken with a clear strength in math and science, starting with honors biology and a high-level honors algebra 2 course. During her personalized academic planning meeting, she chose engineering as her first elective. In her sophomore year, she chose design arts to fulfill her visual and performing arts graduation requirement, while continuing into a second year studying advanced engineering and design. This allowed her to see the connection between engineering and design, propelling her into our Architecture and Design Institute, where she learned about materials, structures, and design and engineering for the built environment. Her initial strength in math and interest in engineering was further supported by taking AP level physics courses and completing our highest level of math. Our next student, a strong writer and communicator, is our storyteller. She knew she loved English, but wasn't really sure how that could translate into interests outside the traditional classroom space. Her 9th grade English teacher, who's also the advisor for Milken's online news forum, The Roar, encouraged her to join the journalism class in 10th grade, and she was off and running, taking on leadership within the journalism program and using our internship program to work 2 summers in a row, one at the Jewish Journal and another with Milken's own external relations team. Our final example for this morning, the advocate, came to Milken with a strong Jewish day school background and a commitment to social justice. He was drawn to our Beit Midrash fellowship program, where he could pursue our highest level of Jewish study, integrated with service learning. He immediately joined Yozma, our service learning leadership program, ran for the Mazkir, our Jewish leadership position in student government, and became a member of our Junior Statesmen of America Club, participating in annual student conferences focused on building leadership skills, engaging in civil debate, and understanding how our democratic government works. Our advocate traveled to Israel for a semester as part of our Tiferet Israel Fellowship and returned ready to integrate Israel advocacy into his already busy agenda of volunteer work. At Milken, we provide a curricular program that's rigorous and personal. It's particularly Jewish, American, and also universally human. We offer over 200 distinct courses, including those at college prep and honors levels, as well as 24 courses at the advanced placement level. Our signature programs, such as Art, Architecture and Design Institute, the Beit Midrash Fellowship, Finance and Entrepreneurship, Storytellers, and our Mitchell Academy of Science and Technology each offer multi-year curricular pathways complemented by co- and extracurricular programs that allow our students to integrate what they learn in the classroom with what they do outside of it. And just as importantly, our faculty and staff are committed to being experts in both their individual disciplines and experts in teaching young people, in showing students the relevancy of an individual field of study and helping students to see connections across disciplines and into their own lives. So as Limor Dankner asked us just a little bit ago, what does a win look like? Students who are given the opportunity to explore and to focus, to make choices and apply their unique talents and interests to their education. A win is graduates who know who they are and understand their ability to make unique contributions to our world, while remaining rooted always in their communities and a sense of obligation to participate in and to serve those communities. It is my pleasure to introduce Rabbi David Sager, our Division 910 Rabbi, who will introduce you to several of our miraculous students.
Thank you, Dr. Schwartz. And I'd like to introduce everyone to Alana, Garrett, Noah, and Troy. Thank you guys for rolling out of bed this morning. How you doing?
Good morning.
Good, thank you.
Hi,
Well,
Rabbi.
So I'm going to be talking to these 4 students about some of the amazing programs and activities that they're involved in, specifically through the lens of the 7 core values that Dr. Shulkin spoke about earlier. And I hope everyone will get a sense of what it's like to be a student in Milken. Alana, let's start with you. Milken's middle name is community, and the core value of Kehillah, building a joyful, welcoming community, can be seen all over the place. But let's hear how it plays out in your experience.
Thanks, Rabbi David. Hi, I'm Ilana Fried-Madden. I'm a junior this year at Milken. So one of the things that makes Milken so important to me is how invested everybody is in creating meaningful communities. So for me, a powerful experience of Kehillah is in the performing arts department. I've performed in The Taming of the Shrew, Fiddler on the Roof, and multiple other performances at Milken, including our upcoming Romeo and Juliet, tickets on sale soon. The cast forms lasting connections both during the rehearsals and at cast bonding activities we organize to get to know each other better and improve our relationship on stage. I still remember being a freshman and being invited to Shabbat dinner by 12th graders in the theater program, and how much that meant to me and everybody in the cast. I know that when I'm a senior, I'll want to pay that forward to younger members of the cast.
Thanks, Alana. And you're going to be Romeo, is that correct?
Yep, that's correct. So come see it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I do remember that theater Shabbat dinner. There was quite a bit of singing. We'll come back to you in a few minutes, Alana. Let's move on to Troy. Troy, obviously we do a lot more than have fun and at Milken, and pursuing academic excellence is another core value. I know you love playing football. I think you're missing football practice right now. You know a ton about the stock market, and one of your big interests right now is computer science. So tell me about computer science, because I think that's the thing that you do that I understand the least.
Yeah, so hi, I'm Troy, and I'm a junior. Right now I'm taking AP Computer Science, and it's not that complicated. It involves a type of thinking that's unique in comparison to other classes, which is why lots of people like Rabbi David don't understand it. What I do in AP Comp Sci is write code for a program, and along the way, I have to practice critical thinking, sort of like learning a language, and then figuring out how to use it to communicate effectively. But then when it all works out, when the code is written and the program works, I get a sense of accomplishment, and I think about how I can go to do more with my skills. Rabbi David, what new areas can I apply my programming skills to?
Thanks, Troy. And I still have no idea what coding even means, but I'm really glad that you do, and it sounds pretty amazing. And I want to move quickly to the youngest member of our panel, our 9th grader, Noah, who's going to tell us about another aspect of community, specifically the importance of feeling that vibe of welcoming when you get to Milken.
Perfect. Yes. So thank you, Rabbi David. I am Noah Firuzan-Farr, and I am currently a freshman at Milken. One of my favorite activities right now is playing volleyball on Milken's volleyball team, which I've learned is about welcoming as much as it is a sport. On my first day of tryouts, I remember walking into the big gym filled with other student athletes. I recognized another friend who was feeling the same way. Turns out she was new to the school and had just moved here from a new country. I then realized I had met her prior in an online meet and greet with both returning and incoming Milken students. I reassured her that everything would be okay and all would work out as planned. After the series of tryouts, me and that same friend were placed on the same volleyball team. Through morning practices and bumping circles before our games, we created a strong friendship. And even at times when I felt afraid of the unknown, my friend once again reassured me that everything would be okay. Being a part of this program enabled me to make connections with other girls, both my age and older than me, improve my volleyball skills, and adopt the mindset of an athlete. Most importantly, my friend and I were able to practice creating a welcoming community.
Thanks, Noah. The ninth grade class always comes from a wide variety of schools. So we put extra focus on making the experience of community as welcome as possible. Let's move to our senior most panelist, Garrett, a senior. And Garrett, he's involved in another core value, teshuva, meaning reflecting and repairing with integrity. So Garrett, why don't you tell us about the SJC and why it's so important?
Of course, and thank you, Rabbi David. The SJC, or Student Judiciary Committee, is a faculty-nominated and student-elected committee that advises the administration on disciplinary action with an emphasis on utilizing student input. Let's say a student makes some sort of misstep that conflicts with the core values of Milken. That student, teacher, administrator, or even another student can request a hearing before the SJC. We, as a group of 9 students, then hear the case, deliberate, and make a recommendation to the administration. If the offending student accepts the responsibility, commits to making amends, and follows through sincerely, then according to Jewish tradition, it is as they have never taken the misstep at all. As you can imagine, the process can be pretty intense, but the way we all think about it is it's really just as students helping out other students grow when faced with adversity.
Thanks, Garrett. That does sound intense, but also important. Let's switch to something a little more fun now. Troy, back to you. One of the core values is Havat Yisrael, connecting to Israel and the Jewish people. And that core value is experienced most deeply on Tiferet, the sophomore semester in Israel program. What makes that special, Troy?
Yeah, so I went on a true once-in-a-lifetime experience to Israel on the Tiferet Israel Fellowship. While there, our teachers imbued us with the values of community and a love and passion for the state of Israel. During my trip, I built a sense of love for my culture and my religion that I could have never gotten anywhere else. Going from being in a classroom on our Milken campus to living in a city called Hod HaSharon and traveling within Israel to holy sites, beautiful nature, and camping was the most incredible. Being able to wake up in the morning, surrounded by my peers, walk 5 minutes to get some amazing breakfast, and then walking to your class on campus was nothing less than extraordinary. The Tiferet program brought out my love for Israel and offered me a true Israeli experience.
Thanks, Troy. And just remind me, what was the best breakfast you had in Israel?
Definitely the shakshuka. It was amazing.
Okay. Let's see. Let's go back to Alana. Alana, you spoke about your performing arts schedule, which is very intense. I know you're not just involved in theater, you're involved in singing different things, and a lot of a heavy load of academic and leadership roles, tough academic schedule. So tell me a little bit about how you have time to, argue with your little sister and do other important things in life.
Well, aside from learning how to be organized and how to manage my time, I think the key is really understanding the teachers. Because the teachers at Milken are incredibly supportive of us in the theater program, not only during the performances, but also during this crazy, intense week before, which we call Tech Week. And it feels really great knowing that I can count on them to support me when I'm struggling, and that they're always up to make time for me if I need to meet with them after class or could use some help on a topic. My teachers want me to succeed. They know about me and what I'm into, and they're willing to work with me to make sure I'm always keeping up. It makes me feel confident that I'll be able to participate in all of my extracurriculars and I'll still be able to keep up with school.
Thanks, Alana. And we're almost done here. Just a couple more questions. Noah, when we talked about the core value of arevut, taking responsibility for self and others, one way that's expressed is through service learning. And I understand that you recently went on a couple different service learning outings. Tell me about one of them.
Yes, so this year I've had the opportunity of becoming involved in the Beit Midrash Fellowship Program, which gives me the ability to delve into ancient Jewish texts and analyze them from a modern or current day perspective. We are learning about our Jewish heritage and Jewish past and how that can guide our choices and life today. We actually recently visited some tiny homes, which are temporary housing for the LA homeless population. In the lot, which I visited just a few weeks ago, there were a total of 50 tiny homes, each tiny home consisting of basic essentials. With donations and volunteers, the tiny homes are able to provide the vital necessities to one's life, and even now are opening a new location of over 150 tiny homes. Exploring these places opens up our lenses to the outside world and greater LA community. We learned about the Jewish value of caring for the needy by visiting these tiny homes, and now we can work together to figure out what our responsibility is as young Jewish individuals who want to make a difference.
Thank you, Noah. That does sound amazing. And kol hakavod, well done to you and to everyone else in the program who went and visited those tiny homes. Let's end the panel with Garrett, our senior, and talk a little bit about what leadership looks like for a 12th grader. So Garrett, tell me about some leadership opportunities you've taken aside from the SJC that we spoke about earlier.
Of course. Well, beyond the SJC, I personally believe clubs are at the forefront of exploration here at Milken. All students have the opportunity to form clubs with any interest or focus, creating an environment of discovery and cultivation of passions. I personally have utilized this opportunity, creating 3 clubs: Model UN, APAC Club, and Current Events Club. In addition to club leadership, Milken has a great student government system, creating further leadership opportunities within our community. However, Milken's leadership opportunities range far beyond our walls. I was fortunate enough to be a 2020 presidential election worker, and am now a member of the Mayor's Youth Council, both of which were introduced to me by Ms. Ordauer, our great service learning coordinator. Finally, beyond our Los Angeles community, Milken has provided me with opportunities to connect with coordinators for APAC and to partake in several councils, conferences, and internships, all pertaining to Israel and the American-Israeli relationship. As I reflect on my time at Milken, I can confidently say that between my academics and all of these truly amazing leadership opportunities, I have learned invaluable leadership skills that help me in college and in life.
Thank you so much, Garrett, Alana, Troy, and Noah. You guys are welcome to go back to sleep now. I love hearing how your experiences reflect the core values at Milken. And now I'm going to hand things over to the person who teaches us the deepest meaning of our core values through his words and actions every day. Please give your attention to the rabbinic head of school, Rabbi Gordon Burnett-Cunin.
Thank you, Rabbi Sager, and your inspired and inspiring students for the ways that you translate our values into action every day. Welcome to everybody. Shavua Tov. I want to take a few minutes to explore what we mean when we talk about values, because I think that values are commonplace in today's society. And I think sometimes they become hackneyed, and I want to see if I can bring a little bit of refinement to what we're talking about when we focus so much on them. I would say that our values are a compass which guide us to fulfill our mission and our portrait of the graduate, which you've heard about. So I want to start with the story, and it's a story which inspires me, which shocks me, and which challenges me constantly. While the children of Israel are building the golden calf down below, Moses is up on Mount Sinai, having the spiritual experience of a lifetime. He's having a one-on-one encounter with God. And after 40 days and nights together, God proclaims to Moses 2 absolutely arresting words. Lech red, go down. And the rabbis add this searing commentary. God says to Moses, I only gave you your greatness for their sake. God reminds Moses that the gifts that we are given are to be cherished, but not hoarded, for they have a higher purpose. Each of us is infinitely valuable and unique. Each of us, in some ways, is a Torah. And yet we are also a bridge from our past towards a better world. So let me say 3 distinct things about values. First, lech red, go down. Values do not exist in isolation. They don't just float up in the air. They must, like Moses, be brought down to earth. Our challenge at Milken is to embody our values in classrooms and when we walk on the way. For at its core, if you really want to simplify things, you could say Judaism is a shared way of life, which enables us to concretize our values. Second, values rarely exist in isolation. They live in tension with other values. In our core values, we honor every person, kavod habriot, and we are responsible for each other, arevut. In other words, we are counted and we are accountable. We pursue academic excellence, as you've heard, and we also pause to nurture the soul. And finally, we are committed to building our particular Jewish community, the Jewish people, and Israel. And at the same time, we are committed to treating every single human being with dignity and kindness in the image of God. And finally, for our values to be nurtured and to grow, they require a healthy soil. And the name of that soil is community. Community has to integrate into the fabric of everyday life a set of values which feel like a sacred canopy. Our values have been cultivated across continents and civilizations. They reach back to Egypt and Sinai and forward to a world which is more decent, just, and peaceful than the one we currently live in. Community honors our uniqueness and challenges us with standards which precede us and transcend us. Our core values live most fully in concert with one another. And hearing their music means bringing them down, lechred, concretizing them, participating in their tensions, and bringing one's unique individual self to the joy and responsibility of community. It is a profound joy to join together in such a community. And we invite you and your children to join our orchestra in sacred play. Thank you.
I think it kind of really upset me, the fact that there's schools in the US that can't afford to buy instruments. So I went in there and started working. So many kids who are so unique and have infinite things to contribute aren't getting that chance. How do I make an instrument that I can just run through a machine, assemble, and it's ready to go? This is something I really want to do, and it's something I'm excited about because it combines so many of the things that I'm already passionate about. And when I started music classes at Milken, it was because I had the option to take an elective. That was it. And it's turned into one of the biggest parts of my life.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Milken. My name is Ross Mancuda, and I am Milken's Director of College Counseling, Alumni Relations, and Strategic Partnerships. It is so good to be with you all this morning, and after you've already seen and heard so much about what we have to offer as a school community. I hope you all were able to get a sense of the breadth and depth of our program and the myriad opportunities that we offer our students from what my colleagues were able to share with you, and most importantly, from our incredible students themselves. In many ways, it's really fitting that I'm one of the final people to speak with you today. Perhaps more than in any other role at Milken, my roles allow me to see the true impact of what 4 to 7 years at Milken can provide our students with. And I'm happy to speak to you this morning about some of our programs and their outcomes. I get to say this every year, but the truth is the truth. Our academic planning and college counseling office is the most comprehensive of its kind in Los Angeles. And some of those highlights include: our work begins with enrolling students entering in the 9th grade, as a member of the academic planning team meets with each incoming family to prepare the academic journey for each student during or at the end of their 8th grade year. Our office has 4 full-time college counselors, each with extensive experience in the college admission field. We work with between 30 and 40 juniors and seniors, and are lucky to have the support of a full-time assistant who is dedicated to our office. Our team travels to conferences and colleges worldwide to not only learn, but to also make lasting connections with admission professionals that will help support our students for years to come. Our team welcomes over 120 colleges, universities, and gap year programs to Milken each year to interact with and meet our students, putting our students in prime position for success in this process. And our office is one of only 2 or 3 in all of Los Angeles with a dedicated weekly college counseling course and curriculum that begins in week 1 of the junior year. With over 40 classes between the 11th and 12th grades, our students are well prepared to embark on the college search and application process. In the end, we care about one thing and one thing only. Our sole goal is helping our students find the right fit for their experience post-Milken. Whether that's a gap year program involving service work or study abroad, matriculating to a large public institution like UCLA, Michigan, or UT Austin, or perhaps a small liberal arts and science college like Vassar, Brandeis, or Reed, we are proud to take the lessons and education imparted on our students and help them in an individualized and focused way determine what is that appropriate next step. In an awesome new addition to the opportunities afforded at Milken, this year we're excited to launch an Internship and Career Enhancement program. The Internship and Career Enhancement program will focus on providing participants with the necessary skills to thrive in college and in the workplace, with networking prep, personal skills, internship opportunities, and specialized seminars led by Milken administrators. Highlights of the program include classes in interviewing, resume building, and networking, along with a career discovery day featuring industry leaders and experts sharing their experiences with our students. A core focus of the Internship and Career Enhancement program will be connecting 11th and 12th graders with meaningful internship opportunities throughout the greater Los Angeles area and beyond. For Milken alumni throughout their college years and after graduation, they will have access to a webinar series focused on career development and industry expertise to further hone their skills. College students will also be matched with alumni in a summer internship program and have access to our alumni job portal. We are really excited about this new endeavor. And speaking of our alumni, we have quite an illustrious alumni community. And among them is Talia Bender-Small, 2010 Milken graduate, member of Milken's alumni board, and president of the Female Quotient. And we are really excited to have Talia join us this morning. Welcome, Talia.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for being here.
Hey, everyone.
So our goal here with Talia this morning is to hear a bit about her personal story and examples which can touch on some of what she experienced from a Milken education. So I guess first and foremost, Talia, can you talk about how Milken inspired you and set you on your career and life path?
Yeah, thank you, Ross. And so good to see everyone. I'm such a big Milken fan, still so involved with the school today. And just really grateful that Milken taught me how to be well-rounded. I was really able to harness my educational part of school and also really my passions. I remember my favorite year academically was really when I was able to harness my interest in science, and I was both in AP physics and chemistry. And at the same time, I was involved with so many diverse extracurriculars. I played sports. I was an athlete all throughout school. I was in the basketball team. I was playing water polo. I was running cross country, and I was also very involved in the art side. I was in the a cappella group. I led our yearbook. So it really allowed me to kind of experience different passion points, which I definitely took on as I continued after Milken. I also really found that the faculty was so amazing in just helping us kind of go through the Milken experience. I actually remained very close with my advisor years after school. And being part of the Milken network is amazing. It comes up all the time for me. I actually have the pleasure now in my role today at the Female Quotient. We have Milken interns with us. And truly my closest friends today are still my Milken friends, which I just am always grateful for. And my friends and I, 10 years post-graduation, talk about all the time.
That's great. Thank you, Talia. And thank you for being such a huge part of our internship program as well. Can you also talk in the work that you do professionally, how your Milken experience kind of inspired you to take positive action and give back to the community?
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing how in school community was really instilled in us, which is really so much part of what I do every day in my career. I really spend a lot of time cultivating community. And through my college experience, it was core to everything I did. When I got to campus, I knew I really wanted to find the Jewish community and discover how I can contribute to it. I was very involved in different organizations, one of which I founded the chapter of Tamid on campus at NYU. And it was a group focused on connecting students on campus with businesses in Israel. I also was able to become a Schusterman ROI Fellow, which is really a global community connecting leaders around the world. And all of that really has stemmed from the focus around relationship building and community, and that came out of Milken. I also am a pro-Israel community political activist, which I started doing while I was at Milken and have really continued on. And of course, I'm still on the Milken alumni board. And it was amazing when I was looking at universities. That's how I ended up at NYU. I was really looking for a school where we had such a great Jewish community, so I could continue and take that on from Milken. And so grateful to that. It's how I actually met my husband. And today we have an 8-month-old, and we're already starting to think about our Jewish education. And I already have him in Shabbat Friday classes, because I know how important that is, really just from such an early age and through high school, middle school.
Well, I hope he is proudly wearing his Milken onesie. And Talia, we cannot thank you enough for your continued dedication and support of our community. You are truly an alumni testament to what a Milken education can provide its students, and you really make us proud every single day. So thank you so much for being with us today and for your tireless dedication to our school. Thank you, Talia.
Thank you. And Ross, we're so lucky to have you as a leader. I'm blown away by everything you have built for both students and also the alumni community. So thank you.
Thank you so much. And without further ado, I'm going to turn it back to Milken's head of school, Dr. Sarah Shulkin.
Thank you, Ross. Thank you, Talia. Wonderful to hear from you both. I was thinking as I'm sitting here listening that it is really impossible to know a school from an hour-long virtual presentation. And even if after this you go on our website and read everything that we've written, or you look through our view book, I think what really sets Milken apart just can't be captured in short moments or in cursory experiences. Because as you actually heard Talia just talk about, it's really about a vision for who your child will become, not only in 6th, 7th, or 9th grade, but for the rest of their lives. It's about something much larger than middle or high school. It's a lifelong gift of an incomparable intellectual and ethical foundation, an unwavering sense of purpose, and a motivating sense of belonging and responsibility to the community. It's truly about launching our graduates into the world and stepping back overwhelmed with pride and humility that indeed our children have surpassed us. If you want to get a sense of what truly sets us apart, please come visit us. Schedule a tour, spend time on campus, getting a feel for what makes this community so special. Ask kids what they love most about Milken and why your child should join us. In the meantime, I look forward to meeting your students, your children at our student experience at 11 a.m. this morning. And we'll close this morning with a video from our first week of school. And I think what you'll feel in this video is, even with COVID limitations, the spirit and the warmth of the community you've just heard about really shines through.